Questo è un altro video intervista, come vedete abbiamo di fianco noi Flex Lewis.
Okay,
7 volte.
all over again.
Ok, ripartiamo da capo come dice lui, meglio. Allora, abbiamo qui con noi Flex Lewis, 7 volte Mr Olympia. E adesso intervisteremo anche lui, mi ha lasciato un pochino più di spazio sul divano, è molto simpatico, mi ha già perculato diverse volte da quando siamo qui oggi insieme, quindi il clima è abbastanza scherzoso.
Well, every year has got its own story, right? So the first year was to win it, the second one was to defend it, third year we found out my wife was pregnant. So number 7 was my final one, and everyone obviously has a story, and it's got me to where I am because every year I had to create the why. Okay. Why? Because being a 212 at the top weight, I never had the ability to make crazy improvements. So I had to come in every year, crazy conditioning, little improvement.
This is the why you have chose to start to move over on the open.
Yeah, because nobody see my true potential. Yeah. So with the 212, it was being at the top end of the weight, probably from number 4, 5, 6, 7, like 210 to 211 point. Well, every year there's a new guy that they're pushing, and every year there's a new guy that I have to beat. So there's pressure in every single show, not just the athletes, but as you said, sponsors and everything else, because for me, I have to be the best at whatever I do. You know, there's no point doing anything half-assed. There's no point doing it. Again, with bodybuilding, it's all about percentages. So if I didn't do everything to the 100% every single day, then I'm giving a percentage away, you know. So it's Groundhog Day, and every day needs to be treated the same, you know. So I expect a lot from myself. That puts a lot of pressure on myself, but with everything, I've survived and thrived on pressure every single year. So it's going to be 3, because 2019 I chose to sit out to put some size on.
I remember.
2020, unfortunately, I got injured going into the show. I had stem cells.
Some weeks, not too many weeks to the Olympia. No. I remember.
And I was pretty big too. A lot bigger than I am right now. And this year, because of the way the world was, and we moved my gym from Boca Raton to Las Vegas, created the Dragon's Lair, and then I got COVID. I put all this weight on, lost all the weight, and I was like, you know what? You know, bodybuilding has been everything for me since day one, and it's now time to turn to my family, and I wanted another kid. So I thought, you know, this year is not on. And I'll have more motivation going into next year, 2022, with having a newborn. So I put the news out last week that me and my wife are now expecting a baby boy.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
So now the mindset changes. So the mindset changes more now into the competitor, get back to be the best. You know, you got to have that mentality, you know. I mean, listen, you've got Rowley that is standing next to me here. We're good friends, but, you know, he's training to be number 1 too. And you should talk as if you're going to win the Mr. Olympia, because there's no point in training if you're going to, you know, enter a show.
It's a new challenge for you.
Absolutely.
To move on the top category.
Yeah.
And what's your expectation?
To win.
Clear.
Just like every athlete that does a Mr. Olympia.
Clear.
Because, and that's not me being cocky, that's me being a confident athlete. I never gone into a show to place. Every show that I've lost, I've learned from. And I was pissed off that I lost. But outside of the show world, you see me with my fans, my followers, my friends. I'm humble. I stay humble. I'm not saying I'm the best. Even if I won, as soon as I walk off stage, I turn back into that guy. When I'm on that stage, that's my stage. Can't beat me. And you have to have that switch to turn. You know, there's a lot of athletes that can't turn that switch off. As soon as they walk in any sport, in different sports, they're like, you know, they are who they trained to be, and when they got there, they didn't change. So a lot of people have said, oh, I used to be humble. How many times have you heard about athletes saying he used to be humble? I don't want people saying that about me, but I want people to say, like, he's incredibly confident, but also humble. So You know, training has already started for 2020. My coach, Neil Hill, has got a game plan. We have been traveling. He's been flying here. I've been flying there. This is the first weekend, not in America, in another country, for us to be together for a long time. So I'm looking forward to him finish traveling, because he travels a lot with his clients.
Yes, I talked to him before.
And then I have my travels coming to an end now soon. So it's going to be nice for us to get together in the gym and have some really good workouts together and start strategizing next year's game plan. It was like, that's the shit I like to see. You know, because there's a lot of pros that won't engage with their fans, you know, they won't. So Rolly sees this baby, he's like, give me the baby. Yes. I can't do your accent. Give me baby. And he's like, oh, like this. But for me, as his friend, also as a fan looking from the outside in, that's a beautiful thing to see, because imagine now, you come today with your friend and you're not into bodybuilding, and then you see him and I and how we engage and how we talk, you become a fan. Right? You become a fan of him and I. You start following on Instagram and you get into it more. Now, if you met somebody who was very standoffish and didn't give you any time, not look you in the eyes.
Yes.
When you ask, can you sign this for me? Yeah.
This is the
it's
thing.
Not cool. I'll tell you, but me and Rolly also didn't come from, you know, we came from humble beginnings, Rolly, right? We come from a different place in the world. Like where he grew up is different to where I grew up, and vice versa. But, you know, we didn't grow up with luxury. So we trained into this position, and
with the anger.
Yes, and that's another thing too. I was listening to an athlete recently, and he said, and this is something I've been saying for a long time, you have to train no matter what riches you have with a poor man's mentality. When you wake up in the morning, you have to feel like you don't have nothing. No matter if you're getting up in a bed with silk sheets and you got a nice robe or anything like this, you know, you have to sometimes humble yourself, you know. And I had the boxer Tyson Fury at my gym, training at my gym before the Deontay Wilder fight. The guy is incredibly humble. He went through a lot of shit mentally. He won everything, decided to retire, got fat, drinking, drugs. And then one day he was like, what am I doing? He was suicidal. What am I doing? And he chose to use his mindset, a poor man's mentality, to get back
start over again
from being where he is to being the guy he is right now. And the guy is an incredible athlete. You know, when you look at him, you think that he's not physically, you know, he's got a belly and everything else, but he is an incredible athlete. But more so, he's an incredible human, because he's not lost touch with where he's come from. He has all his money, he's given it away. His last fight, he gave it away to charity. So, you know, there's athletes like that, and then there's other athletes who think they're too cool for school. You know, they forget they might have been brought up in the hood.
I understand.
In the hood, you know, and then they get a little bit of money, especially these American athletes, you know, these NBA players. They get a little bit of money and then they're too cool for schools. All I can say is that to get to the top of the tree, you have to create your why. You have to have a poor man's mentality, and you just have to love what you do. Because if I didn't, or Rolly didn't, love what we do, we would have left about 2 hours ago. And a lot of athletes be like, okay, boom,
we have to go. Yes.
And you know, of course, we all have schedules. We all have to do, you know, what we need to do. But we're not going to. We will never be that athlete. I mean, me and him, when we was on working with old sponsors to the new sponsors, have never changed. We always laugh. We always joke. We keep it fun. We talk to all our fans that have stood in line for maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. So every person from the front of the line to the back of the line gets the same experience. Because that's what, at the end of the day, is what it's all about, right? You're coming here, you've driven from whatever, 5 minutes, 5 hours to come here today to meet us. And it's all about the impression and the experience you're leaving with. So if we weren't nice to them, or we didn't give them the time, then they're going to be driving 5 minutes or 5 hours back saying, forget this guy.
For see you.
Yeah, you know, never again. So you got to leave that impression. So when the next time they have the opportunity to see you, they're back in line for 2 hours, 3 hours
Yes,
again.
yes, yes.
And very excited to see you because we met them before. So, and that's happened to me many times.
I trust you. And if you can't go back in years, you will change anything?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. I wanted to be the greatest 212 ever, and then move on to do other things. It's a challenge, right? I should have. How I made my 212 for the 4 years. I mean, I still think, holy shit, because I'd look at myself in the mirror already at 226, 218, whatever it was, and I'm like, there's nothing to come off me. And then Neil be like, we got it, okay, coach, and I'd always make it, and I'd always film. So nobody said, oh, he was heavy, you know. I made sure that I filmed every year. But again, to answer your question, I wouldn't change a single thing, because where I've had so many ups and downs, and I've said many times on camera that I've had a lot of failures, but every failure has taught me something.
Make you stronger.
Absolutely. I've learned from it, and I've gone back into whatever task or opportunity with a different mindset.
A lot of champions tell this thing.
When you're feeling very tired and you're thinking, oh my God, like, no, I'm tired, but I'm in my mind, I'm like, my job is still going. I won't shut off this interview. I won't shut off when I talk to fans until I'm done, you know? So, I mean, there's so many, think of how many great athletes I've just given up. I could have been great, right? And this year for me, the last 2 years with the injury, and then, you know, me and my wife trained for the family, it was very hard. I'm not going to lie. I've heard it all. I've heard every rumor. I've heard every, you know.
This is motivation for you to come back and tell who is finished.
I honestly, I don't play into it though. Think about it. It's somebody's opinion that really doesn't know me. If it was
importante questo.
If this was scandalous and they were talking about my family, okay, not a problem. I'd get involved. But you're talking about a guy who has no clue, right? He's talking about to get views on his friend
with your name.
Yeah, somebody that probably knows me has said something to his friend, and then told him. So it's like 3 or 4 people have heard something which is not even true. So that's why I try to tell people, is like, whatever I post is real. I don't, on my social media, I don't try to be a guy I'm not. I don't try to, you know, I'm not tying my shoelace next to my Lamborghini, because I don't have a Lamborghini. But a lot of these guys will pretend they have shit, right? To make themselves, you know, look cool. Bro, it's not fucking cool, you know?
And I think if you want, you can have a Lamborghini.
Yeah, but I choose to invest my money.
Una bellissima palestra. If we come to Las Vegas we come to train in your gym.
Oh yeah, that's the
if
only
you
gym.
Want us.
Absolutely, that's the only gym you're training in Las Vegas. You can go anywhere else. I'm joking.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yes.
You are a very good person.
I appreciate it, and thank you to all my Italian fans. Unfortunately, I don't know much Italian. The words that I do know, I will not say on camera. But I want to thank everybody for all the support. You know, following this channel, following these guys. They're doing great things, putting great content out. So I hope to see you guys in Las Vegas at the Dragon's Lair in the future.
Thank you very much.
No problem.